answer.
Got
Good
it.
point. Yeah, we don't want him to know how to like code stuff because then he could do stuff in secret and then swap it
Yeah,
with other
because
AIs.
I'm sure Watson doesn't know how to do that already.
Yeah, he hasn't figured that out.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
He's so dumb.
Yeah. Jeez.
I sure hope, with all the AIs that we're creating, I sure hope they've just got some guy standing there 24/7.
They have a kill switch.
Yeah, no, not you don't want a kill switch. You just want a power. You want like an outlet in the wall, and you want the guy to just jerk the cord.
That's
out.
what I mean.
Yeah,
just like flip the fuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Supercomputers, ultra intelligent, artificial intelligence runs the entire world plugged into a 110 volt plug in the wall.
Yeah. Some dude could accidentally trip over it
and just destroy all of our infrastructure.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Yeah.
It sounds like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So K4 totally unsolved. Totally unsolved.
It is unsolved. Yeah. Let me go back for a second to the solution of the first three. The first three were cracked in 1999 by a computer scientist named Jim Galagli, who used a computer. He was a California computer scientist.
What?
I know. And but then the CIA rained all over his parade by announcing that one of their employees had solved the first three pieces in 1998, the year before. His name was Dave Stein. And also they made clear that even though they had employees that had been working on this, they weren't using company time. They just did it on their own time.
Of course.
So he said he just did it over like the course of about 400 lunch hours working on this sculpture. And then the NSA announces that, hey, three of their guys had like totally solved the whole first three messages in 1995. And that's what they said.
Sure.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was like...
oh, by the way, actually, I solved it in 1988.
Yeah, I did too. No, I solved it in 1990, the day after they put it up. But
the funny thing is that if you read some of the stuff from the CIA and the NSA, they're really kind of poking at Jim... Galagli, is that how you say it? Because, we did it all by hand. And you just don't get the same joy and blah, blah, blah. It was really funny, the writing that just took a total dig at this guy using a computer to do it.
I think the computer is the smart way to go myself. The rest
it didn't take 400 lunch hours.
No, exactly. The thing about doing it by hand is cryptography, there's a lot of bean counting going on. All that stuff that's just wrote stuff. Like, say, if you're just doing a Caesar cipher, the simplest thing possible, and you just have to add, say, 3 to every alpha letter in your clear text to encrypt it. Well, you got to go dun 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 through the entire message. And isn't it better for that kind of grunt work to have a computer do that?
I agree.
I mean, that's mindless. I mean,
totally.
and there's a lot of that in cryptography in both directions, and so I'm not...
Unless you have a little orphan Annie decryptor ring.
That
helps.
Yeah, I had a Johnny Quest decryptor. Was it Johnny Quest or G.I. Joe? Or I don't remember what it was, but I had a pretty cool decoder ring when I was a kid. Yeah, it was handy. Yeah.
Just remember to drink your Ovaltine.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where I got that Cracker Jack box or what. But yeah, that's cool stuff. Although I'm sure it's illegal now because if any kid had that today, he would immediately shove it down his throat and choke on it and die.
Yeah,
we were different. We were a different breed of kids in my day. We didn't choke on stuff because we were that
eat everything.
Stupid. Yeah.
It's hard when like there are dinosaurs threatening your life. You tend to not like shove things in your mouth.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so
where are we at?
Okay, where?
So CIA and NSA had kept their discoveries secret. Maybe they didn't want to let people know how smart they are and how brilliant they are at decrypting, or it could actually be that, and it does seem to be documented. They actually, in 2014, the NSA did declassify some documents because apparently their employees, there were 3 of them, wrote up reports on how they did the whole thing, but they were classified up until 2014, but now they're available online, so you can read it. So apparently it is documented that their employees did indeed break those first 3 ciphers in 1995.
But why were they classified?
Yeah, why did they keep it quiet?
Because they work for a certain organization where almost everything is classified.
There is a tendency to overclassify things, and it might have been just sheer sportsmanship. They might have just felt like, hey, we're going to rain on a lot of people's parades if we say, hey, we cracked it, here it is,
Yeah, that hasn't stopped them before.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Especially as weird as this one is.
Yeah,
there's more cracking to be done.
It is a weird one. I mean, you'd think they could have said something like, hey, we cracked it, but we're still not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to figure that out yourselves, bitches. But... all right, so we're going to talk about our first little mystery here, but first, let's take a break.
Because I think I see a man in dark sunglasses and a suit at the door.
Uh-oh. The town of Beaumont had a problem. The city council had barred dancing and rock and roll. You couldn't do it. It just wasn't allowed. Supposedly, the rules put in place after the Reverend's son died in a car accident on the way home from a dance. But that wasn't the real reason. The real reason was that the Reverend was wearing conventional socks that didn't fit right and gave him blisters, and dancing only made it worse, and he didn't want to be the only one not dancing. Being the pillar of the community, he decided that it had to be that way for everyone, so the ban was put in place. Luckily, a spirited teenager named Ren McCormick came to town and showed everyone the error of their ways. Socks, a vital article of clothing that often gets overlooked. Thankfully, 4 years ago, 2 guys set out to rethink it. Neither of them was Ren. And after spending 2 years fixing all the things they didn't like about conventional socks, Bombas was born. Bombas offers premium socks equipped with 7 substantial improvements to the ordinary sock, which you can find online. In fact, Bombas socks are such game changers that customers overwhelmingly claim that they are the most comfortable socks they've ever worn. But best of all, every pair of socks Bombas sells, they donate a pair to those in need. They've already donated over 2 million pairs so far. Go to bombas.com/sideways to get 20% off your first order. You'll love Bombas socks or your money back, guaranteed. That's bombas.com/sideways. Now that I think about it, maybe Randy Goldberg and David Heath are like Ren McCormick. They did buck the sock system.
And we're back.
Turns out that guy was just selling books.
Yeah.
Door to door.
My neighbor wanted to buy a screwdriver. Yeah, that's dangerous. I got a good serial killer story for you guys about that one. But
for another time, maybe.
Another time, yeah.
So mystery number 1.
Yeah, let's talk about our first mystery, what is exactly the true purpose of Kryptos? Was it just art, or was it something else?
Do.
I sort of wondered if maybe it's not kind of a recruiting device to try to, find some really talented cryptographers to hire.
Yes. Yes. No, I mean, there's not a question in my mind that this is similar to, the idea behind Cicada 3301, where it's like, obviously, a lot of these puzzles get put out there simply because they're recruiting tools, and
Bletchley Park did it back in the 40s or late 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, Google does the same thing. They hire people who hack into their system. They say, if you can get into our system, we will hire you.
I know. When I heard about that, I got in my car and drove through the front wall. And they said, no, that doesn't count.
No, that's not the same.
Yeah,
you were like, well, it's all right. I had an accident in this car already, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Fine.
But I mean, for me, there's no question. But I know I'm more prone to believe stuff like that than you guys are. So.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, it's actually kind of a nice-looking piece of sculpture too. So it could be a dual-purpose kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
Purposes pretty nicely.
I mean, not that any old schmo can just wander up to it, but
well, that is the thing. Yeah, it is on CIA grounds, so it's not everybody gets to go look at it. But there's lots of pictures and information about it. There's just tons of information out there, and we'll have some good links for you all, by the way. There's one person, Ilanka Dunnan, who's considered one of the foremost experts on the whole thing, and she has a page which we'll give you a link to that has in itself, I don't know what, 100, 200 links.
Oh my God, I
don't know. To articles and all kinds of stuff. And so pretty much almost everything you need to know about Kryptos you'll find on her page. Well, anyway, let's go back to our story for just a little bit. As you know, nobody has yet deciphered K4. So the last time it was deciphered was 1999, and what is 2017? That's almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And people are still hammering their brains out over that one. Yeah, and as I said earlier, because it's so short, that's one of the things that's made it kind of tough to break. Although it turns out, K1 was actually kind of short too, and people managed to break that. And it turns out that it's actually shorter than 97 letters, because in 2013, Jim Sandwood revealed that actually that last 97 characters is 2 messages, not just one. And they're encrypted with different systems. So.
Making it even harder.
Yeah, he does make it harder. And he also said that you need to solve K4 in order to solve K5. So, and in 2010, again, it had been 11 years since the last time there had been any progress in this, so he decided it was time to drop a hint.
Officially, sorry.
Yeah, officially, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good point. So he said the 6 characters in K4 translate to the word Berlin, as in the city in Germany. The characters are the 64th through 69th. The letters are NYPVTT. Write that down. Yeah. And again, now remember, of course, at this time in 2010, nobody but Sanborn knew that there was actually 2 messages in there. So my question, of course, when I first heard that is, well, is Berlin in K4 or is Berlin in K5?
I guess there is. I just have a hard time. I'm so green with ciphers. I don't understand ciphers at all. So for me, it's so hard to imagine a cipher where Berlin would translate to something that has 2 T's at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I paused at
That's
the same
really hard
thing.
for me. But also, knowing that there's this other kind of cipher where actually all of the letters are correct. It's
not a one-to-one
it's crazy,
relationship.
But
yeah. I mean, obviously, obviously, it's not a substitution cipher.
No.
Right. Yeah. It's not a substitution cipher. Can't be.
Right. Obviously, it can't be.
Obviously, it can't be simple. It can't be a Caesar shift.
Yeah.
Obviously, the columnar transposition technique is not being used here because all 6 letters are side by side. They're not scattered all throughout the text.
Right.
So it could be that we're back to the old Vigenère cipher. Maybe. I don't know. But presumably, a lot of people have already tried to decrypt it using the Vigenère cipher.
Yeah, if you know that it's used once, you might as well give it a shot and see if it was used more than once.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, but if they've gone back to the Vigenère cipher, it appears that they probably took out the keyword cryptos. They're probably using a different. There's probably 2 different keys this time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It was So, and that's about all we know about it so far. There were only 23 characters after
the word Berlin.
Yeah, after the word Berlin. Well, and that's not actually true. There's 28. But in 2014, Jim Sanborn said that because still nobody had broken the cipher, he said, okay, the word after Berlin is clock. So Berlin clock, and that word would be spelled MZFPK.
That's how I spell clock.
Exactly. So after clock, there are only 23 characters